faithful viewers of Equinoxe Television, 6 p.m. in Douala, and it's time for the news. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Our major stories this evening: corruption and corrupt practices are still rife in Cameroon as a fight against the ill intensifies. By Equinoxe, the National Anti-Corruption Commission discloses that over 4 billion francs CFA was lost this year to corrupt practices as opposed to 114 billion francs that was last year. And political actors have been reacting differently to what Musiques described as an achievement in combating corruption in Cameroon. We'll be having details of those reactions in this news edition. Plus, a group of political actors and civil society members have formed a coalition known as Front for Change. The members include militants of the Manidem political party and other political parties. Who are those behind this coalition and what is their agenda and their program? We bring to you more details still in this news edition. Viewers, those are our lead stories. Details and more in just a moment. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for your confidence. We begin with this sad news story from Bunaberi in the Douala 4 municipality, where inhabitants of Carrefour Musiques in Bunaberi are still to come to terms with the death of a lady who is said to be a pastor's wife. Neighbors were alerted when the husband tried to leave the neighborhood in Bunaberi after the wife was declared dead in a local hospital or a local health center. According to reports or information we got from the field a while ago, says that the wife was sick but medical attention was delayed for reasons known to her husband alone, whom we were told is a pastor. As you can see on our screens, our reporters were on the field to get more information. Now let's listen to a neighbor of the bereaved woman or the pastor for more details of what really happened.
Days back, before, the lady, she lives there with the husband. I don't know if they're legally married or not, but she lived there with the man. For some days now, the lady has been sick. So the man came here for medical assistance. But when we look at the medical record, we saw that the man has been to La Quintini and Jameau. And he was referred to l'hôpital Jameau. But it's like he did not go. And he was asking us to come and administer some things to try to revive the lady because she was too weak. She didn't come here with the lady, she came here alone. So we told him that with respect to the medical record that we've seen, you've already gone so far. At the level of the clinic, which is just the first contact with patients, we cannot be receiving her here. Let her go where he was being referred. That's how he left from here. Only for us to come in this morning and discover that it's the landlord that even came and called our attention, that they came and told her in the house that the lady is dead. So she went there, we called the police, and the police came in and actually they went and discovered the lady was dead. She was having a cannula on the hand and the drip was flowing. We don't know which. We were told that it's a nurse in the quarter that was administering treatment. So we don't really know more about her health issues, but she died this morning in the house. And some minutes later, the police came in, they did what they could do. And then there was also the district that was here to inquire who was giving treatment. I don't know if they've traced the person. But he was taken to, the corpse was taken to the regional hospital, Bonasama, and then alongside with the man.
So indeed, as you heard, the police have opened investigations. Now to one of our lead stories. Cameroon's anti-corruption watchdog Equinoxe has revealed that the country has lost 4 billion francs CFA to corruption that was in the year 2024. A stark contrast to what happened that was in 2023, where the country lost 114 billion francs CFA to corruption. Equinoxe President Dr. Musiques announced those figures, describing it as an achievement to combat corruption in the country. Immaculate Fogwe reports.
The 2024 report of the National Anti-Corruption Commission, Equinoxe, reveals that the state incurred losses exceeding 4 billion francs CFA this year. These losses stem from prevalent practices within the society. A multitude of entities, particularly public ones, are primarily affected by these practices.
La perception des frais
The perception of fees for services purportedly provided free of charge, as well as demands for fees exceeding those prescribed by regulations, are practices that have been particularly noted within the mayor's office, divisional office, police stations, and gendarmerie brigades.
Commissariat de police, des brigades de gendarmerie.
According to the president of the National Anti-Corruption Commission, CONAC, certain ministerial departments are uncooperative, hindering anti-corruption efforts. Furthermore, religious organizations and all the key stakeholders have also been criticized for their inadequate performance in combating corruption.
Episcopal National du Cameroun,
the National Episcopal Conference, the Council of Protestant Churches of Cameroon, and the Islamic Council seem to be silent. We equally regret that correspondence sent to certain ministerial departments to solicit their contributions have not received a response. Specifically, this includes the Ministry of Territorial Administration, the Ministry of Communication, the Ministry of Water and Energy, the Ministry of Environment, and the Ministry of Transport. CONAC's report does not address the Glencore case, despite the institution's commitment to investigate the matter in 2022. It will continue to dig deep into complex cases.
And political actors in Cameroon analyze the efforts of Cameroon's Anti-Corruption Commission, CONAC, to reduce corrupt practices in the country. Though CONAC, in its report, says Cameroon lost only 4 billion francs CFA in 2024, a drop from 114 billion francs CFA in 2023, political actors think much still needs to be done to reduce corrupt practices in the country. Innocent Azza spoke with some political analysts and compared their reactions in this report.
In the report published by Cameroon's Anti-Corruption Commission, CONAC, on August 27th, the country has lost only 4 billion francs CFA to corruption in 2024, compared to 114 billion francs CFA in 2023. Efforts of CONAC's president, Dr. Détenons Massigams, is hailed, though the cup of tea is still insipid.
The fact that the budget has dropped, it shows that we are in a diminishing return. Instead of moving, we are going towards a diminishing return. And I want to say that it is not a good indicator for Cameroon that our financial budget is dropping and we are borrowing money every day.
Political leader Njang Dennis rather thinks CONAC is not sincere with the report, judging from the persistent corruption practices in the country.
Coming up with all the reports, and we know the level of which many corruption charges are levied on many projects. The audit bench of the Supreme Court has audited and convoked some state officials, but at this point that we speak. So if CONAC is saying that there has been a drop at the level of the corruption, then to me it's more something political, and I don't really take it that serious.
To Dr. Boseneba and Njang Dennis, Dr. Détenons Massigam could have scored 100% if some state institutions collaborated.
As a minister of the state, you are answerable to an independent body called CONAC, so that we can recover the country and rebuild a country that is almost collapsing economically, socially, and even geopolitically.
The institution is so tied to the presidency, they don't really have an independent mechanism to function.
Proposals for CONAC to succeed in its mission are clearly spelled by the political actors.
People can be imprisoned for issues of corruption and reform back state budget because we need to recover this money. Let the Minister of Territorial Administration collaborate with CONAC, and I think that they should give CONAC that responsibility not only to investigate but to sanction.
Because the real actors that we know who are into this, like the Akere Muna, have never been consulted, nothing serious. The change of the Republic, I think, will be a solution.
The president of CONAC and his collaborators remain determined to break the neck of corruption in the country. With hope, everyone collaborates.
In other news, let's come back to the recent outing of Jeune Afrique magazine. Some civil society and political actors in the country have accused that magazine, that is Jeune Afrique, of engaging in a paid job to sabotage the Cameroonian opposition and rebrand the ruling CPDM party, reacting to the controversial editorial which qualified Cameroon's opposition as the dumbest in Africa. Political analyst Aristide Mono says Jeune Afrique seems not to know the difference between a unique candidate of the opposition and a unique candidate of a coalition. For me, I'm sure Sanda tells us more.
Il n'y a jamais eu la candidature unique de l'opposition.
Dr. Aristide Monod says Jeune Afrique's view of the Cameroonian opposition is manipulative. The renowned political analyst and civil society actor posits that Jeune Afrique is on an ordered mission to sabotage the Cameroonian opposition and rebrand the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, the CPDM party regime.
Au regard du niveau d'extrapolation du titre de Jeune Afrique, on a l'impression qu'il s'agit d'une tâche à la commande.
A look at the extrapolation of Jeune Afrique's headline gives the impression of a paid job aimed at mending the imperfections of the Cameroonian democracy, try to rebrand the regime and tarnish the opposition.
Et essayer de jeter plutôt le tort sur l'opposition.
He says Jeune Afrique is an instrument of the France-Afrique neo-colonialist determined to continue to maintain neo-colonial regimes in Africa like that of Cameroon.
Je crois que ce sont des manœuvres des réseaux de communication.
These are maneuvers of the France-Afrique communication network aimed at maintaining eternal neo-colonial regimes in power in Africa.
Dans les régimes éternitaires d'Afrique.
In a science of politics approach, Aristide Monod explains how François Soudan's Jeune Afrique failed in their analysis on Cameroon.
Dans aucun pays au monde.
Nowhere in the world, in the history of democracy, have we ever had a unique candidate of the opposition. Never. François Soudan's Jeune Afrique seemed not to know the difference between a unique candidate of a coalition and a unique candidate of the opposition.
Une coalition est le candidat unique d'une opposition.
Like Aristide Monod, Mamadou Mouta of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement CRM party says the declaration of Jeune Afrique is an insult to the dignity of the Cameroonian people and a veiled support for President Paul Biya's regime. He accused François Soudan's Jeune Afrique of diverting from journalism to political and personal interest.
Still in politics, presidential candidate Issa Chiruma Bakari says if elected president on October 12, he will order the release of all political prisoners to ease the tense socio-political and security atmosphere in the country to create the enabling environment to take the country out of its current precarious situation. Issa Chiruma expressed concerns over the fact that Cameroonians have suffered a lot and it's time to end that misery. He spoke to Mimime for Info, and Babila Jonathan compared his thoughts in the report which comes up next.
After serving the nation at different ministerial positions for decades, he quit. Issa Chiruma Bakari's resignation triggered debate and controversies about the timing, with some analysis pointing to what was qualified as the former member of government's selfish and egocentric ambition.
The decision that I have taken, I took it at the right time. I say that when part of the body becomes a life-threatening decision to safeguard the rest of the body is indispensable.
He says he was compelled by the country's deteriorating socio-economic and security situation, poor governance, corruption, embezzlement, mismanagement of public funds, security challenges, and more particularly the Anglophone crisis, to back out of the collaboration with President Paul Biya and the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement (CPDM) political party.
We have whatever we need to be the most prosperous country on earth. And today we are in such a poverty, difficult to understand and to explain. There is something wrong there.
He regrets being one of those who denied the existence of the Anglophone problem.
I was the first to say that there was no Anglophone problem. I did it, madam, because this is the information I received. But when I realized that the information put to my disposal was wrong, the root cause of this problem was not brought to my knowledge. And when I discovered it, I apologize.
Speaking to Mimimefo, he promised to solve the problem if elected president October 12, 2025.
All political prisoners, they have to be released. And they have to be part of the process, this negotiation. This negotiation must be an inclusive negotiation.
Like several analysts, he also thinks the unification of at least the major opposition parties is necessary to unseat the Biya regime.
Coalition, different form, but as efficient as possible, has to take place.
Isachiruma Bakari is urging Cameroonians to stand with him, to stand for him, to vote for him, to vote for solutions to their plight, to vote for a new Cameroon.
Talking about forming a coalition to oust the Biya regime less than 2 months to the presidential election in Cameroon, Cameroonians are leaving no stone unturned in their quest for change. A coalition has been formed by a group of political actors and civil society members termed Force of Change. This association, which includes members of the Manidem party, also aims to establish a common electoral front. Their objectives were disclosed in a press conference held here in Douala. Lucy Liengo is here with us there.
Under the banner of a coalition of forces for change, a group of individuals have formed a socio-political association aimed at uniting to support a credible candidate capable of challenging the current regime in the October 12 presidential election.
Étant entendu du niveau de vie et le genre de vie que nous menons.
The life we live in, all the problems we encounter, are parents who are abroad who are unable to come back to their country because they have been restricted.
Et qu'on arrête pour rien, pour des délits d'opinion qui se retrouvent en prison.
The ruling regime have been unable to resolve the crisis in the Anglophone regions. Are we thinking of our future or the future of the nation?
Donc nous sortons de cette réunion avec...
The group is working to build a sacred union by bringing together opposition parties, civil society, youth and the diaspora to form a formidable force for change.
Il faut qu'il fasse pression pour que l'objectif du candidat consensuel soit atteint.
With their key message, one candidate for the force of change, one people, one victory, the promoters of this coalition hope to change the narrative that many believe the opposition in Cameroon cannot unite, thus countering the division that can lead to chaos.
De plus en plus.
The Cameroonian population is gradually being conscious that a transition is necessary in Cameroon and that the country needs a unique candidate.
Les principaux acteurs du changement, c'est pas les hommes politiques, c'est les Camerounais.
In addition to designating a unique candidate, discussions are also centered on monitoring the elections by establishing a common electoral front and promoting citizen monitoring of the vote to achieve transparent elections and avoid electoral fraud.
Still in politics, as the clock ticks towards October 12, electors in Douala have been rushing for their voters' cards. Prospective electors are wishing not just to fulfill their civic responsibility, but to see a peaceful political transition in the country. And now let's get the publication of the provisional list, which was published recently by Elections Cameroon here in Douala with Malaglory.
The publication of the provisional electoral roll by Elections Cameroon has reignited the urgency of the electoral season, serving as a stark reminder that October 12th is fast approaching.
Mais on m'a dit que c'est déjà rentré, c'est là. Il y a les gens qui sont venus à la maison de parti Makia chez le chef.
I obtained a permission from my workplace to come here and stand to look for that card. So if it doesn't come out, I will be the loser.
Across Elecam offices in Douala this Thursday, determined citizens gathered in their numbers, driven by a common purpose to secure their voters' cards. The process, which Elecam officials describe as both a verification and correction phase, allows adjustment to be made to ensure proper identification before the final list are published. An exercise that will run till the 10th of September 2025.
I registered in 2022. This is almost 3 years. For a transparency country, my card's supposed to be out to now.
I am determined to vote like any other Cameroonian because it's a civic responsibility. Above all, we are suffering in this country and really need change. According to Elecam, individuals who registered before 2025 are already receiving their cards. The distribution exercise has injected a fresh sense of optimism among those who now hold in their hands the very instrument of their civic power.
Non, c'est bon. Je suis fier.
I'm standing by for my election card to come out so that I can vote as other Cameroonians to contribute for the change of that we are all seeking for in Cameroon. So
the air of expectation was perceived. Many who walked away from Elecam offices this Thursday did so with visible pride and renewed hope. With voters' cards secured, they now wait in anticipation for October 12th, the day they believe could bring about the change they yearn for.
Away from politics, now we talk security. The new commander of the South Joint Military Region, Brigadier General Numa Joseph, has been urged to leverage his expertise in the fight against insecurity in the Adamawa and the North regions which have been affected by attacks, assaults, and kidnappings for ransoms by armed groups. Brigadier General Numa Joseph was installed alongside a new commander of the South Gendarmerie region, Raymond Bumbiswe, by the Minister of Defense, Joseph Betia Somo. Lucy Liengo is here to tell us more.
In recent months, inhabitants and security forces in Gabra, North region, have reported an increase in armed attacks, assaults carried out by gangs. These assaults have worsened existing regional issues, heightening the sense of insecurity among local communities.
À l'occasion de la cérémonie solennelle d'installation du nouveau commandant de la 3e région militaire et terre armée et du commandant de la 3e région de gendarmerie.
Reinforcing security ahead of the new academic year in the North region, as well as before, during and after the upcoming presidential election, are pressing issues on the table of the new commander of the 3rd Joint Military Region.
3rd Joint Military Region, Commander Brigadier General Numa Joseph.
Brigadier General Joseph Numa has officially taken command as the new commander of the 3rd Joint Military Region in a ceremony presided over in Gara by the Minister Delegate in charge of Defense, Joseph Betia Somo, in the presence of the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, Lieutenant General René Claude Meka, along with administrative, security forces, traditional authorities, and religious leaders.
Région militaire inter-armée rassemblée à vos ordres, Monsieur le Ministre.
Brigadier General Numa, who brings over 40 years of military experience, is expected to implement his expertise to restore the confidence of the population of the Adamawa and the North regions.
The President of the Republic, mindful of the Constitution, territorial command of the National Gendarmerie, 3rd Gendarmerie Region, Commander Brigadier General Bumbiswe Raymond.
He is installed alongside the new commander of the 3rd Gendarmerie Region, Raymond Bumbiswe, who has 29 years of experience in defense and security.
La 3e région armée rassemblée à vos ordres, Monsieur le Ministre.
In his address, the Minister of Defense, Joseph Betia Somo, reiterated the importance of both commanders adhering to laws and regulations, emphasizing the need to safeguard the bond between the army and the nation.
Now in education, actors of the basic education sector in the Southwest region are fine-tuning strategies ahead of the 2025-2026 academic year. During the first sectorial conference which held in Boya, the outlined strides are recorded, especially with the increase in enrollment, but also reviewed the current challenges the sector has been facing, among them insecurity, dilapidated structures, and inadequate materials to facilitate the learning and teaching process. Rex Afon tells us more from Boya.
2 weeks to school resumption, actors of the basic education sector in the Southwest region meet in Boya for the first sector conference to evaluate their actions of last year, which they say are applaudable.
2023-2024, we registered 57,9 978 candidates. But as at this year that just ended, 2024-2025, we registered 64,188 candidates, giving us an increase percent of 10.71%.
There were also several challenges recorded, some of which still linger now.
For insecurity, you know, that one is a common phenomenon that we have in all our villages. And the most pertinent issue that we are facing as challenges is this issue of minimum package. As at now, most of my inspectors, they have not been given the minimum package to go and prepare them to teach the children.
Remote areas have the bulk of the demands. Aside insecurity, they face a serious problem of accessibility.
Most difficulties we have there, first is transportation, means of transportation. Most of the inspectorates don't have boats. And if you don't have a boat, you cannot make movements to the schools to see how the schools are properly functioning. Water to drink, there's no pipe-borne water. All the water there is salty. We buy water most of the time from Nigeria. No internet service. Some of the times we have internet service only when we are given the room to have service when it comes from Bambuson, close Bambuson. And if that antenna there is bad, that's all for us.
The delegates and inspectors of basic education have been charged by the regional delegate for basic education for the Southwest region to do their best so that the 2025-2026 academic year, which starts in days, yield better results.
Thanks, Rex. Let's now tell you how Cameroon is faring today in just a moment. In our series of Cameroon today, we will be taking you to Ngali 2. It is a village found in the Mefu and Afamba division of the Central region. With the new school here already around the corner, the natives of Ngali 2 are still disturbed because the structures there are still very dilapidated. There is no structure or no difference between a technical and also a grammar school in that area. Let's now go to Ngali 2 with Sumanjikan Gabriel.
Traveling from Yaoundé to Ngali 2, which is close to Soa in the Mefu and Afamba division, is not an easy trip. A bridge is being constructed over River Mefulu. It is the boundary between Obala and Soa councils. While waiting for the works to come to an end, one must do gymnastics when crossing, particularly when a truck is coming from the opposite direction. You have seen the nature of our roads, which is not far from Yaoundé, without tar. They just constructed a bridge, but it's too small. We hope that it will be extended. As you succeed to cross and arrive in Ngali 2, the striking thing in the village, it's the running of 3 different schools in the village, nursery, primary and technical college, all sharing the same space. It's disturbing because we have the nursery, primary, technical in the same place, and when the kids are mixed up, there is no lecture even, and some teachers even leave Yaoundé to come here. When it rains, it's a natural public holiday. Many have denounced this horrible situation in Ngali 2. Created several years ago, the Technical College of Ngali 2 is still to have its own site. They gave us a school like that without its own space. So they are obliged to occupy the space of the primary school. How did the Technical College in Ngali 2 find itself in the same place as the nursery and primary school? We heard that we've been given a technical school. We waited and didn't see it. Later we were told that the school has been taken by the people of Ngali 1. Our chief then went to Ngali 1 to tell them that the school was from Ngali 2. The people of Ngali 1 had already shown a space that the building for the school will be built. That is how our chief brought the head teacher back here. As we didn't have money, we were forced to take a section of the primary to begin, since we already had the school. The battle between Ngali 1 and 2 wasn't easy, but after getting the school, the problem of its own space still remains. In the heart of the bush, one could spot planks engulfed by grass as the natives had also tried to construct the college before they were cut short by the means. You, however, saw the roof was already erected, which is already falling. There is not enough means for the construction of structures where the kids will study, so we had to open a football pitch. The existence of the nursery and primary school on the same site is not easy at all, and with the lack of teachers, the quality of education is not guaranteed. The lack of teachers is not only for the primary section, but same problem is faced by the technical college too. Our school doesn't have teachers. We count on volunteers, and these volunteers, we have to pay them with PTA money, and we don't give that much because of the lack of means. We are forced to join two classes in one classroom. According to the natives of Ngali too, if the construction of the technical college doesn't push through on the space of land they were given by a son of the soil, the risk losing the land.
Thank you so much, Smart. And viewers, that was what we put together for you this evening on the news on Equinoxe Television. Don't go away, our programs continue. Equinoxe 4 will be yours in about 30 minutes or so, and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. with Ashil Kamga. Thank you, viewers, for being with us, and we will be together again tomorrow, same time, God willing. For now, it's bye-bye from us.